some women have become complacent in their lives, either because one, they've been abused physically, mentally, and emotionally, and two, they've been rejected, abandoned, and forgotten. Okay? Which has caused some of us to not know who we are. A lot of times we have that image, you know. Now, I don't knock anybody for what they do, what they wear, however, you know, nails, whatever. I mean, I don't knock anybody, but sometimes some people do that to hide. They're masking behind the hurts and the pain and the trauma that they've experienced in their lives, and they're putting up this mask, okay? So each of us are unique according to God's purpose and destiny for our lives. Our skin tones are different. The shape of our bodies are different. The looks of our faces are different. Even the tones of our voices are different. But in spite of all these differences and more, there is one common denominator that we all possess. We are women. We are all to become women, whether you are, well, none of us are a little girl. However, I still have little girl tendencies because I'm still in tune with who I am as Nicole. And there's still little girl Nicole on the inside that I like, you know? So I did everyone to get in tune with your inner little girl, because that's the fun part, the part that you remember when you were a little girl and you were playing with Barbies or you were playing outside. I used to make mud pies, you know, play with worms and things. You know, I didn't mind doing any of that because that's what we did. We played, you know, and just to giggle. When was the last time anybody just giggled? All the time. But we are all becoming women, or are women, okay? And we live in a world where it seems as if after Eve presented fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil to her husband Adam, and him partaking, him eating it, that women have been demeaned, they have been degraded, they have been taken for selfish indulgences, for lusts, and for pride. No pun intended. But women have been abused, accused, beaten, and so much more. But what I know for sure is that we as women, we possess power, we possess influence, persuasiveness, assertiveness. I heard that word. You said you were assertive. Courage, strength, forgiveness, yes, the fortitude, resilience, bounce back, you know, nurture, and the most important of all, we can still love. Woman was created to help meet the purpose, goals, and plans for mankind. And I say that because throughout history, if a woman, whether she was married or not, she still possessed the aforementioned attributes and was able to help in times of trouble. And I'll share with you a few examples. Let's talk about Rahab. Hello. She was a child. When Joshua and other men were sent to spy out the land of Canaan, which the children of Israel were to possess because that was their inheritance, she hid them so they wouldn't be captured and killed. She was a harlot though. Okay, that's what she did. That took courage. Yes. Because these are mighty men of valor, men of war. And she took that time. She's like, okay, well, I'll hide you. Now, mind you, she could have gotten killed by Joshua and his men because she was a woman. Or she could have gotten killed by the men who were looking for Joshua and his men. That took some courage. And again, she was a harlot. So she wasn't anybody real special. She was just a woman in town that was sleeping around with everybody. Just saying. Her purpose. Abigail. Abigail was married to a foolish man named Nabal. She sacrificed her life to go before King David to request mercy and favor so that she and her household would not be destroyed because of her husband. Okay? For those of you who are married, you know, I've been married before. And I remember one incident in particular where it was a situation and it was just like, okay, I won't share the situation, but it would have caused me to not be honest about something. And he wanted me to lie. And I was like, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. I love you. You're my husband, but for me, I just couldn't do it. Now, I don't have a problem with being that ride and fly chick, but in that situation, wasn't gonna be on my head, you know? But Abigail, in this situation, because her husband was foolish, and he's like, well, I don't know who David is, you know, and everything. And David and his men was amped up. They were like, okay, well, you don't know who we are? You know? Everybody in your house, your servants and everybody, is going to be destroyed because of one man. She prepared the figs and the prunes, as they say, and a meal, the bread and everything, and went before him and probably laid down, like bowed down, like, please have mercy on me and my household. And David did it. And then her husband died, and David was like, come on. I need a like that. Why not? Like that. So I believe that took some humility. Because she was a married woman. She didn't have to do that. You know? Let's talk about Queen Esther. She did not know whether her husband, King Ahasuerus, would understand that the decree that was made against the Jews were her people. And it would cause them to be destroyed and caused to perish because of their law, because their laws were diverse. So the Jewish people, their culture, their laws were diverse from everybody else's culture. And they did not keep the king's law because they were stuck. Our God is real. Our God is who he is. We're not bound down to yours. Your God, he can't do nothing for us. So she prayed and fasted. And when she went before the king, who was her husband, he extended his sepulcher to her. And he listened to her. And he took heed to her requests. She had favor with her husband. That was favor. Now, these are just a few women mentioned, but there are so many more women that God used. If these women were used to do great things like save households, cities, and nations, can you imagine how influential we are and what we can do as women? So let us not forget that God created woman for man, okay? Because he did. So think about this. For those of us who have children, we give birth to nations, as was mentioned earlier. I mean, when you have, that's a nation right there, you know? When we are asked to give input in the boardroom, okay, now listen. I don't work with some executives, okay? And when you are asked to give your input, you are doing something.
That's right.
Because they're looking to you for your influence. They're looking to you for the expertise and the information that you possess as a woman so that there's balance, you know? And you're changing minds and situations for the betterment of the company and for the investors in the company. Because they are invested. They have money, millions and billions of dollars invested in that particular business. And when you have been called into that boardroom to give some input, oh, you big time, okay? So we are creative and we also invent things. A woman by the name of Tabitha Babbitt invented the circular saw. Oh, wow. Circular saw. You know, the thing that goes like this? Yeah, exactly. A woman named Janine Villepreux Power invented the aquarium that we hold our sea creatures in. Tropical. A woman named Nancy Johnson invented the ice cream maker. Ice cream. And a woman named Ada Lovelace invented the computer algorithm. Now, I don't know about y'all, But I'm just saying, when I think about a computer algorithm, see, my funny self, I'm like, okay, that's when both your left brain and your right brain work together.